If you've ever wondered why identity feels tied to beliefs that go back thousands of years, or how divine language became tied to power, this is something we can map across history and the occult. This is Astronosis. Welcome. To understand how belief shaped identity, let's return to the past and start with King David from the Old Testament. King David, best known for slaying Goliath and uniting Israel. Now, around the 10th century BCE, King David established Jerusalem, and he did this by capturing what is known as the City of David, Mount Zion. It was said that he brought the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem, making it the religious centre of the nation. It would be some centuries later that this would be written about and formalised into what becomes scripture and doctrine. Now, a few things stand out here. 1. Narrative was clearly used to create legitimacy. 2. This kind of legitimacy can be used to justify power in the name of God. David is from 1000 BC. The narrative is created 5 to 600 BC. It establishes history, power, legitimacy, and divine lineage, while creating a blueprint for what divinely sanctioned political leadership looks like. And so here you have a history of kings reciting the likes of, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," while maintaining or extending their kingdoms and realms through defense or conquest, war after war, battle after battle, conquest after conquest. And the assumption there is that we're talking about the creator of all that is. But when you get lines like, "The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool," and now you're looking at something different. Now you're looking at a structure of authority being reinforced, where divine language is tied directly to power. So the question becomes, what exactly is being endorsed here? In later systems built from these doctrines, anything that challenged the narrative could be labelled heresy and carry serious consequence. Royalty may have held the might and the will, but it was the priests who had the strategy and control. No shade on King David, but when you consider how much of King David's legacy, as provided by the later authored doctrine, has been used to justify actions taken in the name of that authority, and when you consider the kind of doctrine that was recorded, where access to God becomes mediated through structure and positioned as something outside of the individual, and where contradiction can be rejected or suppressed, it does then make a lot of what was pushed look structured in a way that reinforces control. When looking at it all retrospectively through this lens, it becomes difficult not to question whether texts like Revelation also function to reinforce the stability of the narrative going forward. Imagine a story with real consequence attached to rejecting it, so much so that eventual common sense is forgotten, leaving only belief. If there were not contradictions within it, belief systems formed by religion might be an easier pill to swallow. But the same authors and custodians of the Bible that determined what was acceptable in terms of belief are also the same custodians of the 10 Commandments, of which "thou shalt not kill" is one of. It seems there is a tension there. It seems there is a contradiction there. It seems common sense takes a back seat to the ability to define and interpret the rules by those powerful or savvy enough to do so. And so now what we have is a set of beliefs that have become inherent as part of the unconscious but standard default setting for being. The programming over the last 2,000 years has been so successful that even though the conditions have changed in the modern age, where we no longer are called to access the divine through an external presence, the fact is, the pattern of subscribing to an external authority for the right to exist still remains. Until we address this, whoever is in a position of writing the narrative determines the life that humans are authorized to live. To summarize and wrap up the story and lesson of King David from a place detached from religious narrative, what we see is this. Here is a political leader who was retrospectively immortalized, and whose exploits, as legitimized in these narratives, contributed to belief systems that have been used to justify authority, power, and claims over land across generations. In the next video, we head for Rome, where we learn how belief was defined, doctrine standardized, and access mediated. See you there.